Welcome in to another all-new episode of the Women's Basketball Now podcast. You are watching the Hoop Central YouTube channel, and as always, it's Hamilton Neal coming back with you for another all-new episode. And here on this show today, we're going to be talking about a couple of different topics. First, we'll be going over the UConn women's basketball team as they have announced the jersey numbers for the team's newcomers for 2022. We'll then talk about BYU guard and West Coast Conference Player of the Year Shaylee Gonzalez entering the transfer portal. And then we'll talk about Wake Forest as they have hired a new head coach, Americans Megan Gebbia. Really good hire. Again, we'll go into the details of that coming up in just a minute as well. But again, first, let's talk UConn women's basketball, as the team has announced jersey numbers for the 2022 newcomers. And first, we're going to start with Fairfield transfer Lou Lopez-Senechal, as she will wear number 11. 8 players in the past have worn this number. The most recent, Mir McLean in 2020 and the beginning of the 2021 season. The most notable player to wear this number for the Huskies, Kia Nurse. She wore it from 2014 through 2018. Ice Brady will wear number 25. 9 players have worn this number in the past, most recently by Kyla Irwin from 2016 through 2020, and most notably by Svetlana Abrasimova from 1997 through 2001. And Ayanna Patterson will wear number 34. Most recent player to wear is Lexi Gordon from 2017 through 2018, and the most notable players to wear are Kelly Ferris, who played for the Huskies from 2009 through 2013, and Tamika Williams from 1998 through 2002. Again, these 3 UConn newcomers all bring something very different to the table. They're all very versatile and dynamic. And first, looking at Lou Lopez-Senechal coming from Fairfield, was a 20-point-per-game scorer there. Obviously had a lot of potential coming over to a big-time program, and UConn needed another playmaking guard. Someone that could take some pressure off of Paige Becker, someone that could take some pressure off Azzi Fudd, and even Caroline Ducharme. And I think as a backcourt player, and as a bigger backcourt player, she's going to bring shooting, she's going to bring ability to cut, get to the rim, and is going to bring some more offensive spark. Maybe where Nika Meal lacks in offense, she can bring that as a guard, because Nika Meal was oftentimes like the third guard for UConn outside of Beckers and Fudd, and she had to try to pick up some of the slack offensively, but really is just not an offensive type of player. She's a defensive first player. And again, we saw that being named Defensive Player in the Year in the Big East Conference. So bringing in Lou Lopez-Senechal, you're going to have Beckers and Fudd and Ducharme out there on the wing, plus her bringing you that ability to score. Now, again, at UConn, she's not going to have as big a numbers, obviously, as she did at Fairfield, but is a good three-point shooter. That's something that UConn needs, and that's something we talked about when we discussed her coming in, first transferring into the Huskies. She needs to keep up that three-point shooting because that's something that UConn really desperately needed at times, especially when Paige Beckers was out. And she really fits the mold of what UConn wants to do offensively as far as hanging out on the wing. Obviously, we're going to see Paige Beckers and Azzi Fudd in the screen and pick-and-roll action, and she's going to be out there with Caroline Ducharme, I feel, waiting to shoot the three-point shot. Or she can get off the catch and get to the rim and make a decision. So I like what she brings. And then you look at the freshmen, Ice Brady and Ayanna Patterson. Brady is physical as a post player. She can play that 4 spot. She can play that 5 spot if needed. Again, 6'3", she brings tremendous size, but also tremendous strength. And that's something that UConn needs, even more than three-point shooting, is post finesse and physicality on the inside. Because we saw in the national championship game against South Carolina, and in other contests as well during the season, how exposed they were on the interior. They just could not stand a chance, especially against South Carolina in that championship game. So that's something that they've needed to address. And they couldn't get a player out of the transfer portal in the post, so they're going to have to make do with Aaliyah Edwards, Dorky Uhas, Amari DeBerry, as well as Ice Brady. Now, I feel that's a really good post quartet. Now, you have Olivia Nelson-Adota going out. Brady coming in is a lot more physical. Nelson-Adota was more that passing post player who could, yes, post up, but wasn't quite as physical, say, as Brady. Had a couple of inches on Brady. Nelson-Adota's around 6'5", Brady's only at 6'3", but that's plenty enough size to compete with other post players in the women's game, and again, has that physicality. And she's a big-time double-double type of player, and I think will be that down the line for UConn. And then Ayanna Patterson, I think, really is the best player of this group when you look at her potential. The sky's the limit for what she can do because, yes, she's around 6'3", playing the wing position, 6'3", 6'4", but she has the ability not only to drive, get ahead of steam, cut inside, but play outside as well. She is a true 3-level scorer and is one of the most versatile wing players that I have ever scouted. And I started scouting players probably around 3 or 4 years ago, and I haven't seen a wing quite like her. I mean, Haley Jones is long and athletic, and obviously what she's done at Stanford has been impressive as a cutter, as a solid jump shooter. But Patterson has strength, quickness. Her first step is outstanding. Her ability to run the floor, her jump shot from mid-range and from three, and her ability to get to the rim. It's such a complete package. One of the most complete wing players, again, like I said, that I've been able to cover. And I think one of the most versatile players that UConn's brought in quite a long time at that position. So she's going to bring, again, that three-level ability. She's solid defensively, but again, can just jump out of the gym. I mean, there's dunk videos. If you've watched those of Ayanna Patterson, I'm sure the Husky fans watching have seen that. And you're going to see the athleticism. You're going to see the versatility from day one. And I think Gino Horiyama is not going to have a choice but to play Brady, one, because of their lack of post finesse, and Patterson because of her athleticism, what she can do. So in the past, we've seen Husky players as freshmen, unless you're Paige Becker, sit on the bench and not get as much playing time. Paige was an exception because of just the rare special talent that she is. But with Brady and Patterson, they fill needs that UConn has, and I don't think Gino's going to be able to keep them on the bench for long, especially with Patterson's untapped potential, her complete game, and then you look at Ice Brady and what she brings in the post. So great stuff with the UConn newcomers. Again, they're Lou Lopez-Senechal going to wear number 11, Ice Brady going to wear number 25, and Ayanna Patterson going to wear number 34. Now let's go over and talk about Shaylee Gonzalez, BYU guard and West Coast Conference Player of the Year. She has entered the transfer portal, and she helped the team this past season to a 26-4 record and appeared in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Now, if you follow West Coast women's college basketball especially, you know this name. You know who Shaylee Gonzalez is. This past year, she averaged 18.3 points, along with 5.9 rebounds and 4.5 assists per game. Now, in 2020, she was the co-player of the year in the West Coast Conference, averaged 17.8 points per game. During the 2018-19 season, she averaged 17 points per game. Now, she missed one season due to injury, and she's expected, obviously, to be pursued by top programs across the country, and she has 2 years eligibility remaining because of a blanket waiver for 2020, and she was able to enter the transfer portal due to a coaching change. And remember, I said on the last episode, May 1st was the deadline to enter the transfer portal. Now, if you were in the portal already, you could do whatever you want. You could go to whatever school you choose. But as far as putting your name in the portal, there was a deadline there, and we feel like it's the Wild West with college basketball in the transfer portal nowadays. You know, there's no limits to the transfer portal, how many players can enter and stuff like that, but there was a deadline, and it was May 1st. But she was able to enter later because there was a coaching change. Their head coach stepped down, and they're in that process of finding a new one. So whoever lands her is not only going to be getting an elite scorer, but someone who can rebound and also dish it out as well to other players and assist. So still very early in her process. Again, just got in the portal not too long ago. So we'll see how the second recruitment goes and what schools jump in. But again, expected to be pursued by many top programs across the country. Shaylee Gonzalez leaving BYU. And now let's wrap up by talking about Wake Forest, as they have hired a new head coach, and it's American's Megan Gebbia. The hiring comes 2 weeks after the firing of former Demon Deacons all-conference performer Jen Hoover. Now, with 9 seasons at American, they appeared in 3 NCAA tournaments. She was a 2-time Patriot League Coach of the Year, and in 2021 they had 23 wins and appeared in the NCAA tournament. Now, this is a Wake Forest program that has struggled throughout their entire history as far as appearing in the NCAA tournament. They have appeared in only 2 NCAA tournaments, 1988 and in 2021. Their 16-17 record in 2021, along with their 4 ACC wins, not enough to keep Jen Hoover on the job. And they felt like it was time for a change because she was there for a while and had a lot of time to elevate the program. But again, only got to the NCAA tournament once with her in 2021.